Hey, my name is Gerard, and I'm going to explain to you an idea we have for adding some great new features to TimePRO, an online timesheeting app. TimePRO is a great app developed by SSW that simplifies timesheet creation. Creating a daily timesheet takes less than 30 seconds, and with CRM and TFS integration, populating project and work item data is a piece of cake. Now we've captured this time-related data, what's missing? Billing. The next development phase for TimePRO is adding the invoicing and receipting functionality. This will make TimePRO a complete product for recording time and billing. Okay, let's start with a bit of history. TimePRO was initially written by SSW founder Adam Kogan back in the mid-1990s. Oh yes, he's that old. It started life as an Access database. The backend was later upsized to SQL Server. When .NET was released, the front end for the timesheeting functionality was ported to a .NET WinForm application. This worked well for a while, but had niggles when working on site. Users needed to be VPN'd into SSW. There had to be a better way, and in 2011, SSW bit the bullet and ported the timesheet functionality to a shiny new ASP.NET MVC application. Taking a look at the table, we can see the hard work converting the timesheeting UI, CRM integration, and TFS integration has been done. The next piece of functionality we'd like to add is invoicing and receipts. To help you along the way, we have created an API in TimePRO to build your app against, and the existing client application is available to use as a development template. The goals are to add invoicing and receipting functionality using ASP.NET MVC5 and AngularJS. This needs to be deployed on Azure. It also needs to communicate with the existing TimePRO API over HTTP securely. We've put together a series of product backlog items, or PBIs, to create a minimum viable product. These are on the SSW TFS server. Now, let's get into details. TimePRO has three invoice types. The first two are pretty straightforward, products and time, or a combination of the two. The last one is a prepaid invoice. It's a special purpose invoice that is used when we pre-sell time. Now, let's take a look at each invoice type individually. To create a product invoice, select Product Invoice Type, select the product category, and Product ID. A time invoice is used when we bill a client for consulting time. This information is sourced from the timesheets. To assign consulting time on an invoice, we select Add Unassigned Time. This brings up a list of all timesheet entries for the client that hasn't been invoiced. The time is then added to the invoice and billed at the correct rate for the resource. A prepaid invoice is a special case. This is when customers can purchase prepaid blocks of time, usually in 40-hour blocks. Prepaid invoices are considered to be products. Once issued, time is taken away from the invoice over a period. Once all funds in the invoice are exhausted, it's considered to be closed. See the link for a working example. Even though a prepaid invoice is a product, it can have time assigned to it. Take a look at the link for a working example. Prepaid invoices will sometimes need to be split or merged. An example of this is the customer may have purchased 2 times 40-hour blocks and the timesheets don't fall neatly into these 2 blocks. E.g., week 1, the dev may have performed 44 hours of work, so the additional 4 hours will need to be split and added to the second prepaid invoice. Just as we can split, there is also the need to merge invoices too. Take a look at the link for working examples. When an invoice is created, it will need to be emailed to the customer. TimePRO should generate a PDF copy of the invoice and email the customer. The generated email should be based off a template that is user editable. Additionally, there should be an option to email a payment reminder to the customer. Take a look at the link for an example. Invoice receipts are recorded as payments are received. We track the payment date, amount, type, and reference number. See the link for an example. We will also need maintenance pages. Currently in TimePRO, there is a product form. This will need to be retained. Additionally, we may also need a company information page. That looks great. So how do we want this thing built? We want to use modern web technologies, including AngularJS for dynamic UI, TypeScript for type safety in JavaScript, Kendo UI for grids, ASP.NET MVC for the web platform, hosted on Windows Azure, with the data stored in SQL Azure. So that's SSW TimePRO Invoicing and Receipts. Don't forget to check out the product backlog for more details, and thanks for watching.